Hey everybody, Amanda here. Hey, I just wanted to jump on and talk to you guys a little bit about prioritizing. We live in such a busy world. We have things coming at us left and right. We've got demands on us from our kids, from our husband, from our bosses, and sometimes we just got to figure out how to make first things first and prioritize. So, we're going to keep it simple because this is all about living life simplified, right? So I'm going to share a couple of my tips for how I got my priorities back on track and how I keep the important things important and how I've slowly started to take the rest out and really live a productive and simplified life where I'm not crazy busy all the time or stressing or losing my mind, okay? So tip number one, you want to create a list of your top 5 priorities. And so your priorities are going to be different than mine, but I'll give you an example. My priorities go, number 1, God. God is first and foremost the most important thing in my life. Number 2, my husband. My relationship with my husband is incredibly important because he is the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my earthly life, okay? We took vows, and to me that's very important. Number 3, my family. We have a baby on the way, and when the baby comes, he's also a priority, right? Our family's a priority. Making sure that we spend time together, making sure that we grow as a family. Number 4 is myself. Making sure that I'm taking care of me is huge. That's a big priority. And sometimes in the to-do list of the world, our priorities slip and we don't even put ourselves in the top 5. Okay? Number 5 is my purpose and my career. So many of you may know that I am a Beachbody coach, and I love that because that is part of my purpose, right? And so it all goes back to priority 1, which is God. How do I live out my God-given purpose? I do that through my career. I do that through making sure that I'm taking care of those things that will help me in my career. Okay? So, now that you've got 5 priorities, your top 5 priorities, I want you to rank them. I ranked mine, and I want you to rank yours. And this is going to take some deep time, and it's going to take some thought. Don't freak out about it. Not a big deal. You don't have to spend too much time. Really think about what's important to you. What's going to help you grow? What's going to help your family succeed? What do you want out of life? And this is where it's going to come down to thinking about your why. You're going to think about your long-term goals. You're going to think about your short-term goals, like where you want to be in 5 years, where you want to be in 10, 15 years, where you see yourself 50 years from now, okay? Prioritize, pick those top 5 and rank them. Number 2, after you're done ranking your priorities, I want you to think about the actions or the things that you could do for each of those categories. They're going to help you get stronger in that category. So, going back through my top 5, my number 1 priority, again, God. Building my relationship with God, making sure that I'm spending quiet and quality time with Him every morning, where it's just me and Him, with prayer, with daily devotion, with worship, and just wrapping my mind about what He is trying to tell me so that I can be more efficient and better at number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5, okay? If I don't take care of that top priority for me, I'm not going to have any of those other priorities, okay? Number 2, my husband. What am I doing? What actions can I take to make sure that I'm keeping my husband a priority? Am I neglecting him so that I can do work? Am I putting work before my relationship and before my marriage? Am I doing things that, like maybe hanging out with my friends instead of spending time at home with him? Just things like that. You really have to think about what your priorities are and what those actions that you can take to make that bond or make that priority, that category stronger. Same thing with the kids, right? You want to make sure, like, are you doing kid events, like going out with your family, going to the park, going to do fun things, even just like doing a fun family game night, right? Are you prioritizing your family? And then, of course, you have to take care of yourself. If we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't pour in to other people. And so it's always good to make sure that we're putting ourselves on there. What do I do to take care of myself? I read. I do personal development and personal growth. I read every day. I do affirmations every day. I work out. Right? So I take care of myself, I exercise, I eat healthy, because if I'm not taking care of myself, then I'm not going to be able to take care of the people around me. Okay? So those are action steps. Those are things that I do in that category. And then number 5, my purpose and my career. If I am not sharing value about what I do and about loving people and being intentional about meeting people and talking to them and just finding out goals, then I'm not doing my job. If I'm not loving people intentionally, then I'm not doing my job. And so for every category, prioritize. Find out what those action steps they're going to take you to the next level in that category, because we always want to be moving up. We don't want to stay stagnant. We always want to be moving up. Now, step number 3, you want to look at and figure out what are those things that you're doing right now that maybe are taking you away from your top 5 priorities. For example, I used to be a total reality TV junkie. I'm talking Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm talking like Bravo. I mean, I was all over it, okay? And I was watching a lot of TV. I'd stay up really late. I would be drinking, and I just wouldn't take care of myself. Well, if I'm doing all that, then I'm not focusing on my top 5 priorities. If I'm staying up late, then I was sleeping in late during the day, and I wasn't getting up and having my devotion time or my quiet time, which has been like a foundation now for my daily routine. And makes me feel so good throughout the whole day. So it's just like these little things. Figure out what's taking you away from your priorities. And then step number 4 is to limit or avoid those things that are taking you away from your top 5. And so think about those interruptions or busy work that you do. Maybe it's some things that you were like, oh, I have to get this done, or I have to get that done. And you're like, but it's taking me away from my husband, or it's taking me away from my family. Really think about those things. You want to limit those. If they're urgent but not important, then put those a little bit lower on your priority list, right? Because we all have a to-do list, whether we write it down or not. We all know there's things in life that we have to do. Maybe knock that down, right? And then limit the things that are not important and not urgent. For me, anything that I do to escape or that wastes my time, like watching excessive TV or playing Candy Crush Saga, that was another thing. I would be on there for hours playing Candy Crush Saga. But it was keeping me away from the important and necessary things that I needed to help prioritize my life. And I think that we get so confused about all these things that we have to do, but really it's making sure that you know about those top things that are important to you, and then taking those daily steps to help you get there. Our schedules, yes, can be hectic and crazy, but it's okay to say no. I totally give you permission to say no. I think we're so bent on saying yes to everyone and to being people pleasers that we forget about taking care of ourselves, or we forget about our top 5 priorities. And then we end up putting those top 5, those things that are so important to us, they end up slipping down and down and down further on the list, which makes us unhappy, which makes the people around us unhappy, and we don't want that, right? We want to be happy, we want to be healthy, and we want to be productive, and we want to live life simple. So I hope those tips helped you out. I am going to post a link in here where you can check out the 5-second rule, which is an amazing book about how to say yes to priorities and how to say no using 5-second decisions. It's super awesome. You'll love the author, and she's super real and super honest. And I'm like, wow, when I read the book, I was like, this is so crazy amazing. I love it. So I hope you guys love the group. Tomorrow we are going to do a live webinar at 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, it's Eastern Daylight Time out here because we switch our hours. So it's Eastern Daylight Time, 9 p.m. And I'm going to hop in live and share my story with you. And we're just going to have a real honest chat. And I'm just going to share my life with you. And I hope you guys can jump in. So we'll make sure we post a link in tomorrow so that you can access the webinar. We'll also have questions and answers. And if you have any questions, come prepared. Thank you guys. Have a great day.